All right, so welcome Betabreakerz. Basim here again. I know I've been promising you a tour of the cliffs at Valhalla, and I missed my opportunity. It is no longer the cliffs, it is now movement at Valhalla. So to make it up, I brought Mike Wolfert, the founding father of the Cliffs Empire.
You've never done a tour all these years?
Not of the,
Oh man.
That's why I kept talking about it. So we talked about it. We talked and talked and talked about doing a tour here, and then life gets in the way, right? And then so we're here. Mike's here. He's going to give us the personal tour from the person who started the whole Cliffs. I'm going to call it empire because I just, near and dear to myself. And essentially, why we got here, where we are, and where we're going. All right. So, welcome, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome to Movement Valhalla. I mean, I opened this now September 2005. So we started building in 2004. So it's pretty much 20 years ago now. Yeah. I was climbing bum, sleeping in the back of my SUV in the parking lot to do construction. So couldn't even afford an apartment, showering at friends' houses, that kind of thing. And it kind of stitched us together. It's kind of a beautiful story because I called anyone I'd ever roped up with or shared a rope and be like, man, if you're my friend, I need you now. And like, here's a drill.
Nice.
I mean, we had Rockworks at the time, was a wall builder, come in and do the walls, but most of the rest was done on like kind of the friends and family plan.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Awesome. So we're in the lobby. And Mike, you can, as we just walk through, give us a tour of where we are. I mean, you have your typical lobby where you have your community space, of course, your shop stuff.
Retail, yeah. And I think we were kind of the early folks to really put retail as like kind of a front and center thing. If you go to almost all of the now Cliffs Movement gyms, you'll see that retail is kind of the first thing you interact with. And that was always kind of an afterthought back, when gyms were being built. When this gym was first built, nobody knew what climbing was. All the landlords were like, "You're going to do what to my building?" Right? And there weren't enough climbers to pay the bills either.
Right.
And so we had to function in Westchester specifically too on making all our money on the weekends on birthday parties so that Monday through Thursday I had a cool place to hang out with my friends and climb.
And that's interesting, like when you talk about the birthday parties, watching the evolution of, the Cliffs as we go through to now the birthday parties have their own space, which I totally love.
Yeah.
More from like, just, I don't have to worry about falling on a kid, from a bouldering section. But, why Westchester? Like, what was the thought around Westchester County for the first spot?
Well, so I grew up on Long Island and moved out west during the whole .com boom in the late 90s, early 2000s, and found climbing in Yosemite and just quit life and became a climber. It just had this, almost cliche, but life-altering event where I saw the valley and I was like, this is what I'm doing with my life.
For sure.
And so I always knew that I wanted to find a way to kind of take my passion and marry it with, work, and wanted to come back to New York and be near family. I think it's, important for me to raise my family near grandparents and all that. So that was important to me, but I could never go back to Long Island. So this was like close enough to the family, but also, a good population to build a gym at. And I liked Westchester.
And so how's it going to jump away from the premier climbing up here in New York?
And the Gunks.
On the Gunks, right? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right.
Yeah. So the Gunks were a wake-up call. I didn't climb them when I grew up here because I became a climber out west.
Okay.
And coming from the valley and thinking I was like a honed climber and then trying the Gunks, I got my butt kicked. That was a wake-up call. Yes. How tough that place is.
For sure. All right. So
come on in. So as we get through the check-in desk, we have bouldering and ropes. And again, you'll see this as a fair bit of bouldering, which is also kind of different back then, that all the gyms were ropes. And back then, boulders, they would tape like a 12-foot line across the ropes in the gym and say, you can boulder to this height, and you need a rope on past there. And so kind of a shift towards like the bouldering demographic was also fairly new at the time.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot more fitness planned as well. And then when the birthday parties took over, the upstairs that you'll see in a minute was meant to be kind of a fitness zone that turned into kind of a kids' pizza zone.
Right. So, but you do have it's the yoga room and also the weight training room.
So we have just a quick yoga, weight training. the fitness equipment is moved out, and or we can put a tertiary birthday party tables and pizza and all that fun in here.
Right. Yeah, and the staff gets a lot of good workout just moving equipment in and out.
Yeah, it'd be fun to back it up and see kind of the newest gyms and how we've evolved.
Yeah.
Our newer gyms are obviously 5 times the size,
Yep.
and like you said, we have the kids area completely sectioned off where you can put them behind doors and literally tie them up.
Right.
But I think at the time this was a step, and I get it's like a climber. You climb 512, you want to try 513, everything you want to kind of bring to that next level. So. This is new too, as we were talking about earlier, that we have now a
Fully padded floor.
Fully padded floor. So it's bouldering mats throughout. As opposed to just drag mats, where you have edges in them.
Full of bouldering area. I remember that. Like, they completely changed the whole feel. Like, as a boulderer, you're used to just dragging those mats into place, but those, of course, posed issues if people then drag them in place, or they weren't there, or someone drags a mat, and then it's like also the fighting of the mats, and now it's just the whole floor, and it's for everyone. Like, it's clean through, right? Bouldering as well as ropes.
Yeah,
that ropes.
I mean, honestly, it's excessive for the roped area, but to have a transition from higher mats to lower mats would have created a tripping hazard. So we wound up doing it and throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Okay. Well, I just
and I love that with the modern gyms, what we're doing is not necessarily emulating rock climbing. It's plastic grips. You don't have sharp holds that you're going to get flappers. And so we're making a caricature, a fun, bright version of it.
Right.
And we've moved, in more modern gyms to the kind of the Walltopia walls with like kind of the textured plywood, but it's bright, it's colorful, and this was kind of the old hand troweled on concrete. But I like the texture because it's a bit like outdoor climbing, where you can find little gyms for your feet and kind of use natural features.
And the route setters actually use especially on the Urettes, they use that as part of the actual climb.
Yeah, and so there's pros and cons to that, right? Like, because using naturals is super cool. Like, there's a lot more beta involved, but it does dictate the climb. Right. If you've got a natural, it's really hard to set with a different style climb if someone can just use a better natural feature than the holder you're selecting.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it dictates the movement a lot more. And so on the modern gyms, we've gone a lot more cleaner, flatter panels, or big open lines, and let the setters add macros to change the angles.
Right.
Whereas here, we really designed the angles of the walls to themselves. So there's a lot more micro adjustments here, and I still love it a lot more.
I love it. Yeah.
I still my favorite place, and I think 20 years of history, 20 years of community, 20 years of friendships. I think that makes a lot. Like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've essentially grew up as a climber. I grew up here, right?
Yeah.
And I've gotten to watch a lot of the climbers, whether they're team to, have gone, like Tyler was team, and now he's the head coach.
Right. To see these kids grow up. 20 years later, now they're 30-somethings in like the real world, the real job. There's definitely that like fatherly spirit in there, see that
absolutely
impacted lives. A number of marriages and like lifestyles and that have come from introducing to climbing. It's really special.
Yeah, last year was actually a big year for weddings from the group here.
Cool.
We can still quick walk through around here and kind of just so everyone can see, because in very few of the videos that we actually get to see the ropes. And it's funny because I actually started on ropes. Come on through, Mike. This is, I actually started on ropes, and long story short, ended up bouldering, and then so from a video standpoint, most people don't ever see what's going on the other side of these walls. So they've actually never seen the full facility, mainly different bouldering areas. But now putting it all together, you guys can see the other side of the Cliffs climbing gym here. All right.
When we were designing this gym, we use CAD software now and Google, Google SketchUp. But when we initially designed this gym, that didn't exist. They were still building models out of foam and all that. And so I would take a drawing and put tracing paper over it, draw the wall, and just take a big eraser and erase out a part and be like, what if I change this angle on that? And so this this gym was designed by pencil.
Wow.
And kind of same thing here. I was trying to do more what's traditionally kind of female-centric hip movement, lower body power center.
Stemming.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a fairly steep wall if you see the angles, but if you climb well, you can do almost all of it with your lower body. So the whole design of this area was to really, be driven from the core, hip, mobility, all that.
This is my favorite wall to climb.
Thanks. Right. Like, I mean, basically everything can be turned into some sort of a stem if you have better flexibility than me.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, I've seen it climbed almost all the way up without home. Yeah, nice. Up to kind of that last lip encounter.
Cool. All right, so that's the downstairs area. Let's go, and it's a lot of things that have changed too. I love the fact that we have the medicine balls now, as opposed to that you had the
we had anchors into the ground.
In the ground.
Yeah. So, we used to have ground anchors for weight imbalances, but what we had to do was put holes through the carpeting to get to the concrete to put the bolts in, and that tend to lead to tears. And,
and so now we have the medicine balls that you just strap into and do your weight. So heading upstairs. It's funny because a lot of people don't know this upstairs even exists. Right. And you say like, oh yeah, the slab. This is, well, it used to be the birthday party area.
Right, and it still is to a degree.
Yeah.
So the intent of the mezzanine initially was for birthday parties and for instruction. When you're newer to climbing, it can be intimidating. There's a lot of fit, hard climbers, and this is kind of a private space where you could take an intro class without feeling like you were under the microscope. For sure. So that was the intent of it, was for intro classes and birthday parties. And then during COVID, when we had occupancy restrictions and people needed their own spaces, and we were only doing like 2 folks per bouldering area.
And not birthday parties, right?
And not birthday parties, no group events at all. We took half of the birthday party top roping walls and turned it into a slab bouldering zone. And so what we have here is where we can set the stupid human tricks and the fun slab proms. And
I fell in love with this slab area. I remember when I first came back, I discovered that you'd actually done this. And I was like, this is fantastic. And everyone was like, you like slab? And I'm like, I don't like slab, but I like like this. And I was excited to see that it stayed, which is awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a little hideaway nook. Yeah. And then
last but not least, the decoy.
So this was also both a birthday party area for food and pizza that we were using, that we have now converted to a training board, which is a fantastic training. We use the Decoy app because it's a fantastic app, but it's also supporting a hometown hero, Danny Yagman, who's done a lot of boulder development in Connecticut and those areas.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I hate this decoy board. It's interesting because the other boards you can pretty much get on, but you really need to be a strong climber to hop on the decoy board. And I'm not a strong climber.
Yeah, I do think that's the weakness. I think you have to be kind of a V4, V5 climber, which you are, a strong climber, by the way.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I get on it, and it's one of those things that if you look online, all of the really strong climbers are on training boards. Yeah. And that says something, right? And and for them, their proving ground are these boards, whether it's decoy or whatever it may be. And it just keeps telling me I need to get on these.
It is. It helps.
That's really what it is, especially coming into the comp season.
Yeah, hard reps, right? This is the heavyweight, low rep kind of style workout where 3-4 moves and you're pumped.
Yeah,
and repeating.
I think the setters, when they just start really hitting these, everything down there from a set standpoint got that much harder.
Yeah, it did.
Like their view on what a V2 was completely changed after this board made an appearance up here. So it's a good and bad thing though, which is kind of awesome.
Right. That's a constant battle trying to get the setters not to set too difficult.
Yeah.
So that the walls remain accessible to beginners and folks that are less athletic body shapes.
And I think, well, that's Valhalla's mantra. I mean, like, Valhalla is known to be one of the hardest gyms to climb in, and I think that's a nice badge of honor to have.
Right. People take pride in that.
Right. I mean, like, I remember the Tri-State Bouldering Series going before it was the Cliffs Cup, right? We actually had a whole bunch of other gyms included. You do all of them, and you'd be going through like, and then people would come here and they're like, "What is happening?" They couldn't find their flow because it was just that level was higher.
Yeah, I think being that much closer to natural rock, where the grades are stiffer, especially the gunks, that it kind of lends itself to that a bit more.
Yeah, for sure. I find that a lot of gyms that are near really, premium outdoor areas, that a lot of, and especially if the staff is part of the people who have done the first ends, like that really, they go hand in hand. All right.
I think the setting here, you can tell, has more outdoor influence as well.
For sure.
I think it's less comp-centric with, crazy paddle dynos. I mean, they do set that.
They throw them in.
They throw them in, for sure.
Right.
But it's not like some gyms, it's like primarily that. Right. And I think this is like also a flavor of that, but I feel like these lines are like a good flow, good training for outdoor kind of lines versus some other gyms that are more, comp-centric.
Right, yeah, no, and it's funny because looking from a competition standpoint, like a World Cup bouldering, there's the 4 styles of climbing, and they really here address all 4 styles.
Oh, I'm glad you think that.
Yeah, I mean, like. Cool. I don't think it. I know it. Like you see it. So it's really awesome that they actually take the time to make sure that we have well-rounded climbers, coming through the gym, and it is accessible. Right. Every once in a while, they kind of gaff on a V2.
Yeah, I mean, look, not every painting is a masterpiece.
Exactly.
But
they are masterpieces
with a creative art form, right? And there are mostly, but like whenever it's a creative art form, there are going to be hits and misses, and that's what art is, right? Like that's how and they're choreographing movement on a wall.
Yeah, and it's not saying the climb isn't great. It's just when you start talking about labeling a climb, that can be tricky, right?
Yeah.
So which is why you guys went from, I remember you tried the no grades right for a while, and then you went to the plus or minus, like it'll be V2 or V1 or V3, and just to say that it's an arbitrary thing.
It is.
But it's like it is what it is. So
and whenever someone complains about a grade, the first thing I ask was it fun?
Right.
Was it a good climb?
It's a good climb, but this is not a V.
Let's not get too caught up in the grades, right?
Yeah.
You want to see personal progression, but that doesn't mean you have to tick it. It's
exactly right. Yeah, and that's what it is. Is like take the grades down and go have fun, right? And then I actually felt that when you took the grades down, that actually made everyone better climbers because you would try things that you normally would not try. V8, I'm not a V8 climber. Right. Just try it. Give it a shot.
And then we've tried a lot of different things because it's hard for newer climbers that don't know how to read a route and they want to be told which they can warm up on without pumping out. And, and it's fair because it's a new sport to them, and so a little bit of a benchmark. And so there was a time at which we only graded to V7 and everything after that was V hard.
Right.
And so we let folks who are clearly more experienced, gifted climbers be able to figure out for themselves. So we've tried a lot of different things over the years.
A lot of experimenting, which is awesome. Yeah. All right, so that is the tour of this wonderful facility. Thank you, Mike, so much for your time. So now we're gonna actually lace up and then have a quick session. Great. Hopefully we have a couple people join us. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to show Mike how it's done all by myself. All right, we'll see you guys in a little bit. Nothing like break it. So you said you wore through your shoes and you need a new pair anyway. You've been outdoors a lot?
I'm getting out a little. It's been a busy moment as we transition the brand from the cliffs to movement.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, spring and fall. That's what it's all, getting outside is what it's all about. So can't miss that.
Yes.
We just got Ice Pond legalized, as you know, and open to the public.
This.
Yes.
What?
We worked with the Access Fund and the Putnam County Land Trust. Not only do we get it all legalized, but we help work with the Putnam County Land Trust to effect a land swap to get the private land. They swapped some land that the land trust felt was less valuable for hikers and birders and outdoor enthusiasts with a developer, and got the rest of Ice Pond put on their trust land. So now it's all legal. We'll be publishing a guidebook. We created the guidebook. It's not out yet. It'll be out this spring. Gary Goldfinger, if you remember him, who learned to climb here, was an employee here. And I took him outside for his first time climbing at Ice Pond, which I think is a lot of New York folks' first time outdoors.
For sure.
Is now, it's now officially legal and will be a published guidebook come spring.
That's news to me, and that's awesome.
Exciting.
News.
Yes,
yeah, it's exciting.
It is.
So, I mean, is that why everyone's at Ice Pond like a lot now? It seems.
Probably, yeah. It's got a lot of press as we had the official ribbon cutting ceremony.
How did I miss all this?
Senators showed up, the whole thing. I don't know how you missed all that.
I don't know how I missed all that. All right. Well, of course, I've been busy as well.
Yeah.
We've all been busy.
So cool. It's been a lot of Ice Pond, like revisiting old classics that I haven't done in 20 years.
Yeah, that I still can't make. But yeah, so I was actually just talking to Tyler about getting out there and climbing in the cold, which I don't see I don't. But we're gonna find out if that's actually gonna work or not.
It'll work. How about I might go Saturday.
Tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I might have to join you on that. All right, so as we warm up, before we can't talk while we're on the wall, so I know, like, on my mind, a big burning question is, why, Mike? Why? What happened?
Oh, it took so when the climbing world has obviously evolved from building a gym in an industrial park in suburbia 20 years ago to these modern urban facilities that we're building now with all the amenities. And as the climbing business landscape heats up and more gyms are being built and competition heats up. It used to be build any gym and you have people would show up, and now it's like you have to be strategic, and it's heavily competitive markets.
A lot of gyms are closed.
Yeah, a lot of gyms are closed. COVID hurt. COVID hurt all of us.
Yeah.
But it was like, how does the Cliffs remain relevant and keep growing in this modern climbing business economy? And for us, it was, I had to kind of shake the tree and find investors for each new gym. And each one was a separate kind of raise and a separate set of investors and agreements. And it was becoming too difficult just to replicate over and over and to grow at a relevant pace to basically keep up, right? If you're not swimming, you're drowning. So, so it was, we looked at access to traditional capital, but you don't really build a lot of assets in a climbing gym. It's not like you can resell the walls. We lease all the buildings, so there's no real estate. So it's hard to get bank loans. And then we looked at a lot of other methods, and I thought that, in partnering with Movement, they're reinvesting in the gyms. They have obviously the national growth, so members immediately get access to the nationwide network, and they are adamant about keeping all of our staff and keeping our setting policies in place, and so the Cliffs culture will still remain. And so it was an access to how the Cliffs evolves to that next step, and I think that alignment with Movement gets us there, right? It gets reinvestment in the facilities, it gets building new gyms, it gets members perks across the country, and all those things, and it's not like you're going to see different faces when you check in and different people. I think it will still keep that community vibe, right? And that was one of the things that really was important to me, was making sure that the staff had a good warm home and that. And, and to a degree they have a more robust support system, so there's better, healthcare and plans in place for the staff now too.
That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. I mean, that's not typically something that can be offered, in this type of venue. And I actually did a little bit of research and just simply like who's behind Movement. And there's a lot of climbers, in what I would say like the board of directors, right? We're not, just not a bunch of suits coming in and trying to make money. There's a lot of people in the actual, we'll call it industry, the climbing world, that are trying to build.
Right. So Movement is now an amalgamation of what was Planet Granite on the West Coast, Earth Treks on the East Coast, Movement in Colorado, and now Summits from Denver and Texas. So if you look at their hierarchy, the folks at the top are mostly people who have grown up through the gym business. Stephanie Coe, their head of operations, came from a route setting background and worked her way up through Planet Granite. Charlotte Bosley, who runs both the retail and the marketing, was a pro climber out of Earth Treks. Mike Wolfert from Movement is now a member of the board, and Ann Worley-Wolfert as well, both badass Colorado climbers, right? Actually, technically, Alex Hanold sits on the board as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And speaking of like, I'm guessing you're not just walking away from this, right? So you're keeping involved.
Yes. So I will also be taking a seat on that board and help, shaping the vision moving forward. And we'll also be working as an advisor to the board. My primary responsibilities after the transition. Right now, for the next couple months to half a year, I will be helping this staff transition and make sure that goes as smoothly as possible. It's always a heavy lift, kind of merging the companies. And then from there, my main goal will be, the board decisions, but also helping develop new climbing gyms within like the traditional markets that the Cliffs operate. So helping New York and Philadelphia continue to expand.
Awesome. Yeah,
which was always kind of the goal.
Yeah, I mean, like we've had these conversations before, and see that twinkle in your eye when you're talking about that next best thing, and I was like, wait, no. So I had a feeling that there was a bigger, and it's great to to actually hear it, to confirm what my thoughts were behind why the move to Movement was made, and that's really awesome. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, I know. It's right. Every new gym, you just want to push the envelope. You want to be the new, set it to the next level, and I think this will give us the ability to do that. The kind of spaces we can look at and the creativity we can employ, having that kind of support behind us.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, let's get more. I'm getting cold, so let's get back on the wall here and continue. Getting mentally ready for the Cliffs Cup, which is not the Cliffs Cup anymore now, is it?
No, each name is saying like it'll still say Feats of Strength and Gotham and all that. But
when I was working on posting all the different dates on Climbing Noise, I had actually started I think that it was the night before the announcement was actually made, and so I had already made it, Cliffs branded and all that, and it was like, I was like, wait, no, what is this? So, that's and funny. Then it was, just kind of the, what do I got to do now? So, and I was like, do I wait to get, artwork? I'm like, I'm going to just post it, and if anything changes, whatever. So I have it, Movement, and it's now just a bouldering series, right? It's no longer the cumulative, because I was like, oh, darn. I talked about this with Tyler before, because it was the 5 gyms, right? And, in each category, top score you get the like overall champion, but there is no overall champion now. So each gym has their own competition.
Thing, yes.
And it's just basically not just basically the winners, but the winners from each location.
Yeah, partly because it was a funny moment. How do we brand as the Cliffs or Movement?
Right.
And, we're kind of halfway in between at the time, and we had to launch the marketing for it.
Right.
And partly because I think that Paul, who runs the whole cup, Paul Jung, had made just an executive decision to really focus on each gym's unique kind of competition rather than the overall.
For sure, yeah. I mean, because for a lot of people, they just don't have access to Callow Hill, right? That was kind of like if you make Callow Hill, you have a pretty good chance of overall, and that was the. So I totally get that decision, and I mean, like people are like, oh, no Cliffs Cup because that was just branded, right? That was just last year. Was but it used to be the Tri-State Bouldering
Tri-State.
Series. And then, we have enough gyms to throw your own series, so why not do it? Which is, I think it's, once again, just an evolution, right?
Yeah, that was fun. When we initially, the vision was enlisting other local gyms in the Tri-State area and making a series in partnership with them. And really, that community is obviously a much larger one than just the Movement Cliffs brand. And so what happened was, with some gyms, not to name names, it was hard to have the Cliffs Movement quality at those places, the setting, the finals, the light shows, all that. And so it became too much that we didn't really have say running someone else's competition, but attaching our brand and our name to something that might not have been the same quality.
Right, no, for sure.
So we made a decision to stay away from that just because we didn't want to attach our brand to that.
Right, no, absolutely, yeah. And like, once again, you had enough gyms to really throw your own. Like, that was kind of a pivotal moment at that point, so why not? Which is cool. Yeah. You're going to still keep your cup? You have your cup?
Oh, the chalice. Yes. Yes, the chalice will always come out.
All right, excellent. And so so here's a question. Will we actually see you on the walls competition time? Or are you going to just hang out and observe?
Yeah. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I probably will still help put the comp together. I love being a part of it. I love helping forerun. Okay. I don't know that I'll compete.
Oh, come on.
I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. I've been part of this comp for 20 years now. Yeah. It's like, I get a lot of fun out of actually helping build it still.
All right.
I mean, not the Tyler and that crew do most of the work, and Jill and the setters and Paul and his team, but it's still fun to tinker.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, Betabreakerz will be live streaming the entire, not the series, but every single one of the Movement New York Philly competition. We still need to figure out the branding on that. But yes, so definitely subscribe, like, and all that so you get notifications for that. And definitely check out Climbing Noise or each of the Movement gyms, individual websites, and Insta for the schedule. It's easier to go to climbingnoise.com. Just way easier. It's all right there in one place.
Awesome.
Is she going to join us or no? You're going to join us on the wall or what? Climbing. It's a climbing gym. We're climbing.
All right, what is this place?
Hello. How's it going?
Oh my gosh, your gear's not even scratched up.
I know.
You gotta charge me now for these.
Yes.
I just took a pair.
Wouldn't even know how.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing?
We're session here. So we
See, you guys make fun of me for not climbing in episodes and I never do it, so I guess I have to.
Yeah, you have to. Well, I was saying before, it's not like we're not climbing enough as much as we just never get to climb at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's just timing.
I avoid the gym between 4 and 6.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, so we just finished up the first. Finally, I did the tour.
Yeah.
Mike was kind enough to walk us through the space. He's not really familiar with it, but he tried his best to give us a good tour.
It's good. I'm really happy you guys did that because I think there's there's so many historical points about it, outside of not just for the cliffs, but just climbing history, just all the personal histories and stuff.
So
I was actually really happy to hear Steve was doing that because I was I don't want it to kind of get.
Yeah. And so even from a climbing history standpoint, and I apologize, your camera's running, but Mary's not mic'd up, but we'll try and pipe her audio.
Yeah.
But and like I know like this is one of the first climbing gyms in the area. Like, where does it fit? Was it the first or one of the? Because I know the Rock Club has a.
We were before the Rock Club and the Gravity Vault.
Right, Gravity, sure.
There was like Chelsea Piers and the City Climbers Club back then. Yeah, totally.
No one could afford to go.
But right, as climbing specific, we were the first in the area. There was the inner wall up in New Paltz.
Right. Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
We're probably the first climbers gym.
Yes.
Dedicated space.
Dedicated climber space.
Commercial gym.
Commercial. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I have a rock wall in my house, and that doesn't really count as the climber.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Excellent.
Yeah. Well, funny bit of history is that this box was originally built by a subcontractor of NASA to build the lunar landing module. So that's why we have this kind of open column-free space. Yeah. And then the same contractor, before kind of virtual reality and being able to simulate it, actually built the tail end of a tanker jet and the front end of a bomber jet so they could practice refueling midair.
Oh, wow. In this space.
Yeah.
So some serious history.
Find it. That's actually a thing I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was just the standard. I found a broker walked us through, and at the time it was a furniture warehouse. It had was the most recent lessee of the space. It was just racks of furniture, but there was a 16-ton crane on crane rails that went along the roof, which was so fun to play with. You put the chain down and swing around the facility. I didn't see someone else driving it.
Did you see it and you're like, this is the spot?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You should be doing this. Like, I should have you mic'd up, not me. Yeah. So, like, in case you can't hear, Mary just asked, like, when you saw this, was it essentially love at first sight? Was this the spot? Yeah,
it was pretty clear that it checked all the boxes. It was the spot. I mean, I love it's on Wall Street and Valhalla reference, all but
cemetery.
Yeah, but it was also a tough moment because I was a dead broke climbing bum. I think my mountain bike was probably the most valuable asset I had to my name.
Right.
You're not kidding.
Yeah.
And so trying to play the game of finding capital and getting bank loans and doing all that, because you can't sign a lease without a loan, but you can't get a loan without the lease, and you can't get either without construction plans. But how do you get construction plans if you don't know what your lease is or what you're building? And so it's this like crazy juggling act moment where, but all the pieces wound up coming together.
Sure did. And so for those, is she in the shot? Is Mary in the? Okay. For those of you who don't know Mary, I'm sure you've seen her before in the background. So, like, what's your actual title? I know it's
facility director.
Facility director. See, I would have given you like a manager thing, but see, it's facility director, much better title.
I've kept it through all the changes.
Yes. Facility director here at the Cliffs of Valhalla. Awesome climber, personality, wonderful person. And she's got some questions. She's got a lot of
questions.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys went over with yet, but I guess, Mike, when you saw this space, did you first think of you're like, I'm gonna have like one climbing gym and it's gonna be like my mom and pop shop and like that's it? Or did you kind of have a feeling like I'm gonna make this a thing in New York?
Yeah, I mean, there was no intent of going beyond this gym. It was really a place that I got to share my passion with folks, right? Like in the early days, I belayed the birthday parties, taught the Boy Scouts, did all the things to get, the gym off the ground, and, sharing my passion with new folks while also having a place, like we were saying, Friday through Sunday, we made all the money to pay the bills with birthday parties, right? And the Monday through Thursday was when there was a handful of climbers here who we are, primarily buddies from New Paltz coming down with and so that wasn't what paying the bills. It was just a great community to hang out with. And, obviously we've seen climbing evolve, but it was always just kind of the intent to marry the climbing and be able to support a family on it. But I think as day to day happens, we're climbers. We're always looking for the next adventure, the next challenge, and I wanted the next challenge, the next thing in my life. And so then LIC came, and that was a huge difference. I mean, just trying to deal with New York City zoning and navigating all of that, and just how much more expensive everything is in the city to do. It was a whole new challenge. But I think that once I learned how to do that and get good at it, it was something that became a thing to replicate. It is very, very difficult to learn the zoning laws of New York City and navigate the bureaucracy. And so once I had that expertise, it was
But
off
still,
to the
it didn't
races.
help with Harlem though. I remember Harlem was just
the
nightmare.
truth on that was
It wasn't you, it was the landlord.
No, and then landlord is, there's no sugarcoating. It was just a scumbag slumlord who got caught doing a lot of things. And honestly, I can't even blame the bureaucracy. The Department of Buildings did their job. The fire alarm system from the first and second floor wasn't communicating. So if there was a fire on the first floor, the second people wouldn't know. And that's a good thing to flag. We shouldn't be allowed to occupy a second floor space if we're not going to know if fire's coming. So they did the right things. It's just by the time, once you get caught pulling shady business, you go through this whole audit process, and it's very hard to get out of. So once that happened, it was kind of a tailspin, and it added years to the permitting process.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I was in Gowanus last night, and I was like, I can't believe there's so many climbers. I was like, I just can't believe that there are so many. I can't believe that this company that I'm a part of, for the last 10 years, has facilitated that. There are just so many people climbing, and I was just reflecting on that from this space to that space, which spend obviously most of my time in this one. I guess I don't know what you guys have gone over already, but
if it's already been asked, we've done that already. So it's fine.
So, Mike, you obviously started this space and this company and this mom and pop, and how you trained me and all of the now managers up in this kind of specific work culture. I think we've thrown around some Yvon Chouinard comparisons before. How did you feel about that, it's scaling, and how do you feel about it now being a gym that's, one of 29 versus one of 1 or 1 of 4?
Yeah, as we got up to, say, 6 gyms and got to over 400 employees and had an executive team, full HR department, I don't know functionally on a headquarters, a corporate level, if going from 400 to 1,500 really changes the game, right? It is already to that point where we had a decentralized management team, right? Or a centralized management team in decentralized gyms, right? And so it wasn't just all of us the way it used to be hanging out in the office behind the front desk here. In the early days, it was working remote, and so I don't think that changes. I think, like I said, there is a bigger support staff with movement. There is more reinvestment in the gyms. There's more ability for growth. And there's more kind of benefits and healthcare and whatever for the employees. And one thing, Miri, that we were talking about was that it was really important to me, and something that movement is was on the same page with, and part of the reason why we did the deal is that they have no intent of getting rid of anybody, right? They love our culture, they love what we built, and they plan on continuing it. So, it's going to be, like I was saying, it was the same faces at the front desk, it'll be the same faces behind the desk in the office, and that's so it'll be able to continue that way with more support.
Cool. I can say so far that's exactly what I've seen and all the intent that I've heard. So
also.
Yeah, and so I have a weird question. What are they going to do about that sign on the top of Gowanus?
All the signs got to change.
That's a massive sign.
It is, and it's New York, so you can't just change the sign. You got to probably go through a 6-month permitting process. So
yeah, I'm sure.
We shall see.
That was I was like,
let's do it plus asterisks.
Yeah, a little asterisk
exactly
from the sign.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. A little gaffer's tape and
That's right. Keep our roots. I put the gaffer's tape up there. I love it.
Yeah, awesome. Any other?
I'll think.
Are you going to actually climb, or are you going to sit there?
No, I just talk. That's all I do. Just sit in the bouldering area and chat with you.
Come on, get on the wall.
True.
Let's do it. All right, so she comes with more questions. We'll get the mic over to her. All right. How much time do we have? Oh, actually, we're running out of time.
Yeah, 20 minutes. So I gotta be
in the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
Yeah, you got business to take care of. I get it. And how far is it?
The reason why I'm going to the Bronx is worth noting publicly is that Dumbo Boulders is not going to reopen.
Well, we kind of figured that out since it didn't reopen
this year.
I know.
You know, we were still fighting for it. The problem was insurance. It became, our insurance dropped us, and we couldn't find anyone else to carry us. We found some, but it was so much more expensive to the point where it would be like operating at a massive loss every year.
Yeah, because build an island in the middle of the river.
Yeah.
It would be cheaper than.
It was, and it's unfortunate because, you know, I guess insurance fears the unknown, and doing bouldering outside is less known than an indoor environment. And so they were nervous about the mulch, for example, that the rubber chopped up recycled tires that we use as a landing surface, which is actually has fall ratings and is as safe as the indoor flooring, which you can't use foam because it absorbs water and gets moldy and etc. outdoors. Yeah, it would be nasty. So the big thing was that we couldn't convince them that the mulch was safe and things like that. And so unfortunately, insurance claims another victim, and Dumbo will not be reopening.
Yeah, I was one of those, because like Robbie, once again, another video, that would be the 4th video, gym tour, that just, I can't release because the gym is never opening again. But Robbie and I had actually done the tour of Dumbo. And it was like, all right. And I held it because of COVID, and there's no point in releasing a gym tour if there's no gym tour open. And then we're like, okay, and I'm like, spring's coming. I'm looking, I'm like, it's not opening. Why is it not opening? And it's like, oh, well, another one bites the dust. So, yeah, I might even just post a gym tour just for the memories.
The memories.
Just for the memories.
Okay, we should do it.
Yeah. All right. So you don't have a lot of time, so we'll make it a short session. Miri is actually laced. Look at that, laced up, velcroed up.
Look at that.
Look at that. Some old demo shoes.
Yeah. Let's go. Well, I'm semi-warmed up, but we're just doing a session, just talking, you know, so no pressure here.
Climbers chat.
Exactly, climbers chat. And you definitely have asked some really great questions. So as you're getting on the wall and you're just clearing the head and contemplating, come down with a question if you.
All right.
All right.
All right.
This is a good try.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that the route setters, they set a route, and they run out of tags, and they just grab whatever they have and throw it on the wall. I think that's what happens.
The problem is the Valhalla team, like maybe it's whatever NASA left in the water. They're so strong.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, that decoy board totally
fish in a small pond,
messed up.
Big fish.
Yeah.
They're so strong.
They can't.
It's also a hard thing when setters care and want to try to train new climbers and add specific movement to easier climbs to teach them how to flag or drop knee or more advanced techniques, heel hook, toe hook, knee bar. It all of a sudden becomes much harder because they're trying to teach those techniques. So I think part of it is a conscious effort to help advanced climbers and add intrigue to easier climbs.
Yeah, they work really hard. I'd say of our setters, they're here until close, watching everyone climb, so they know that you're falling on it, and they're like, yeah, no, that's what 3 of us seem. Work on it. Work on flying.
Work on it. Why are you dynoing past my move on this climb button? Right. Stop doing that. Let me remove this hold. No, they definitely.
Do something.
Yeah, and it's interesting watching that, because I know that they're doing it, just sitting in kind of in the periphery, just kind of watching, seeing what this climb is going to do to this person's sanity or tendons or whatever it may be. And then they make adjustments too. Like a lot of people don't realize that from like the Wednesday sets to Thursday, not only they're filling in, they've moved stuff around. Yeah. To either make it easier or harder, right? I mean, it all kind of depends on their intentions and not maybe seeing something and keeping balance. So I mean, we always joke and we laugh, we bust their chops, but they do.
Like it's a routine. Like they work with the team kids like 10 minutes after their setting shift, and those kids reach it. It's upsetting, but they do. They get there.
Yeah. No, for sure.
This is so great. I'm so glad Miri's a part of this.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, actually, to that, like, Mike, what do you say when people like talk about the different setting styles between the gyms?
I think that Valhalla is influenced by being near so much natural rock. I think the style of climbing lends itself more to outdoor climbing than kind of like the crazy comp culture. Certainly they put in their share of comp style movement, but I think it is a gym that gets you strong for outside, and I appreciate that about Valhalla. Yeah.
I don't know if it feels really good when they like send a 3 or 4 here, as I just did it. Did you guys talk about feats yet?
We did, but
This story. It's like my favorite Christmas story. It's like the story of feats.
oh
Well,
yeah.
the actual origin of
the
feats?
origin,
Or, no,
yeah.
we haven't talked about the origin of feats.
I think that's what I would like on the record because I
Okay.
would be able to.
Do you want to tell him?
No, I need to hear from
So
Santa.
yeah, right. So
Santa Wolfert.
most people don't know, but that's a Seinfeld reference, a Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah, if you remember
Yeah,
that
I know,
George's dad had feats of strength, he had to lift up the TV or whatever. It was a play off of Seinfeld. We used to send out trailers in the original emails announcing it. So it's it's Festivus for the rest of us.
That's awesome.
And that would have been the first large comp. What was the first comp like? Was it big? People come?
It's amazing. I think because the community nature and vibe, those early gyms had like nothing for a cash purse. But the early years, we had stronger finals than people who made finals at nationals that did not make finals here. We had, Magnus come in from overseas as a World Cup climber, and Sasha DeJulian and Paul Robinson and all these big names coming out. And so it was just, Jason Kale, it was like a who's who kind of listen. I think it was just the community vibe. This was a fun place to be. The after parties used to be insane back when you could get away with insane after parties.
Right.
And so it was just it was amazing that a community gym could pull off that style competitive environment and do it in a, kind of a fun and good natured way.
Yeah.
So
I remember
this one was a success. It
was huge. Yeah, it was a banger from day one. I remember Paul Jung, who now runs the series and runs the route setting and all that, was at the time a climber from New Paltz, was actually a Scarper sponsored athlete, was the unearthed climber of the year that year in the Urban Climber now defunct Urban Climber magazine. And he came down to compete, and he never climbed plastic. He learned to climb outside, got to double-digit bouldering outside without ever even really training in a gym. And so he didn't know gym style climbing. So he came in unknown basically and climbed the hardest single comp climb we set, and not anything else. Just put in one climb on his scorecard. None of the pros climbed that climb. He was the only one to send it, and he hands in a scorecard with one climb on it. and being the old school days where everything was a whole lot more just for fun, I was like, F you, I'm putting you in finals anyway. Right. And I threw an extra, I didn't make anyone lose their spot. I just put an extra head in finals, and I put him in there, having never competed on plastic in his life in the finals.
And so was that your first introduction to Paul?
Paul and I were boys from climbing outside. We connected, outdoor climbing.
And now that person who handed in one scorecard is the director of route setting.
Director of route setting.
All of the setters
Built
at Valhalla and outside of that. So
and
if that is to say
and the whole comp
the
series, what was Tri-State to Cliffs Cup to now just the series, was all his brainchild. He put it together from scratch. I didn't ask him. He's like, Mike, I want to do this thing. Can I do it? And I was like, yeah, have fun. And he just built what was probably one of the best, if not the best, non-USAC climbing comps in the country.
Agreed.
He was funny. He was working as a time when he was also kind of climbing as an athlete, was working for Nissan as a car mechanic. And he decided to quit that life and just dedicate to climbing. And so he was originally commuting down from New Paltz to work the front desk here, and then worked his way up through instruction and coached teams, and really started from the ground all the way up to now be on the executive team running the route setting.
Yeah, in charge of the whole budget now from having climbed one route.
That's crazy. That is, and so a lot of people don't know Paul as Paul. It's PJ, right?
PJ,
so if you say PJ, it probably now makes more sense. It actually took me forever to realize that PJ was Paul and Paul was Pete, and it was like, oh.
He got mad at us just screaming Peach all the time,
right.
So maybe he switched it up.
Yeah, he's actually on vacation in Waco right now.
Yeah, much deserved break, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. You're gonna get back on some plastic, or
Yeah.
8 more minutes of some
Yeah.
or you're.
I mean, Miri, I can just give her my mic too. You guys can keep going
But
because
I can answer the questions, right?
yeah, Miri knows all the answers.
All right, well-
she's setting me up for the answers, but she knows everything. So she's been here.
Gotta give it a volley.
Yeah, exactly. She's
I know where this is going.
she can answer these questions as well as, or probably better than I can. So
All right, cool.
you're in good
Well,
hands.
Mike, thank you for the vision, for everything, and really, I know you're going to be part of this all the way through to the end. So we'll see you. Hopefully, we'll see you
I'm
here.
never leaving Valhalla. This is my baby. I'll always be around. If anything, I'll be here a lot more because I'll have more time in my life to actually come and climb.
Awesome.
So yeah, and thanks so much for the support over the years from you as well. It's been great having you as part of the community.
Created a community that we just have to support, want to be part of. So,
right.
My pleasure.
Great.
All right, brother.
And I passed the mic to
Oh
you.
my god, so metaphorical.
You got it. Awesome. Be good, Mike. All right. All right. I had to stop the video there. We're going on close to an hour. I did have a beautiful conversation with Miri, but in today's world, no one likes anything longer than 10 seconds. I will post that conversation, that session with Miri, in a couple of segments. That is actually longer than this video, if you can believe that. So if you're interested in that, definitely subscribe and you will get notified when those videos release. Also, please, if you've made it this far, awesome. That means you must have liked something. So please give me that thumbs up and like the video. It helps the algorithm, helps keep me motivated to keep doing what I'm doing. And then one last request is, if you can, in the comments, just give a shout out to Mike. Let him know how much you appreciate what he's done for the community. I know how much I value it, and really just want to say one more time, thank you so much for what you've done for the community, Mike. Can't wait to see you out on the wall again. And with that said, we'll see you guys next time.